2,000 kilometers off the coast of California is not a paradise, but a real nightmare. There exists a nation of waste 3 times the size of France, even larger than the state of Texas, with no land, no life, only torn fishing nets, and about 100 million pounds of toxic plastic drifting endlessly. For more than 70 years, since the plastic age began, humanity believed cleaning it up was impossible. Scientists shook their heads, governments turned away. But then, from the harbor of San Francisco, a strange fleet set sail. They carried no weapons, only a mad ambition to clean the ocean. And what they achieved was not just collecting trash. They proved that when technology joins with determination, humans can reverse the greatest mistakes in history. What really happened along the invisible boundary between Hawaii and California? And where has the fate of 45 million kilograms of waste gone now? Why did the superpowers, the same ones who put humans on the moon and split the atom, become helpless before plastic bags for half a century? The answer lies in unpredictability. This garbage patch does not stay still. It moves, reshapes itself, and spreads across an enormous area, making every traditional method meaningless. Scientists once mocked the idea of cleaning it, calling it youthful naivety. They calculated that humanity would need thousands of years and burn billions of dollars just to filter a tiny portion of the ocean. But from sketches on a teenage boy's napkin, history changed. How did ridicule turn into respect? And more importantly, when millions of tons of trash were pulled up, where would it all go? To decode this mystery, we must understand the battlefield. The Pacific garbage patch is not an accident, but an inevitable result of ocean physics. The Earth operates 5 massive ocean gyres, working like gigantic water engines driven by trade winds and the planet's rotation. Lying between Asia and North America, the North Pacific Gyre is a natural supertrap. Every piece of trash falling from Japan or California is swept by these currents into a high-pressure center. Here, the water becomes calm, imprisoning everything in an endless circular loop with no escape. Do not imagine this as a solid island you can walk on. The truth is far more terrifying. It is a toxic soup. The waste does not clump together but disperses, floating in suspension, forming a thick plastic fog just beneath the surface, turning this region of the sea into a massive ecological graveyard. In 2011, 16-year-old Boyan Slat traveled to Greece with dreams of a sparkling ocean. But the reality beneath the water was a brutal slap to that belief. There was no paradise at all. He saw more plastic bags than fish. They drifted lazily like dead jellyfish, choking the life on the ocean floor. That shock was not just disappointment. It was an awakening. Slat realized the planet was suffocating in humanity's legacy of waste. That anger sparked a history-changing question. Why can't we clean it up? Plastic did not arise naturally. It is the child of a 20th century chemical miracle. After the Second World War, humanity searched for a material that was cheap, durable, and light, and we created plastic. It transformed the world, from medicine to food, bringing unprecedented convenience. But here lies the fatal paradox the inventors never foresaw. We designed a material with molecular structures so stable it can last 500 years, even forever. Yet we use it for products meant to be used once for 5 minutes. A plastic spoon thrown away after one meal. A shopping bag used for a few seconds. From 1950 to today, humanity's plastic production curve has risen like a hockey stick, a terrifying exponential explosion. We have produced more than 9 billion tons of plastic, and most of it has never been recycled. It escaped into the environment, flowed down rivers, and in the end, the ocean received it all. We unknowingly turned the ocean into a gigantic landfill. When looking at satellite images of the Pacific garbage patch, do not only shudder at the massive fishing nets or floating plastic containers. Truly fear what you cannot see with the naked eye. Under the burning impact of ultraviolet rays and the relentless pounding of ocean waves, plastic never truly disappears. It only breaks apart. It fragments into smaller pieces, and smaller still, until it becomes microplastics. This is the moment when the disaster shifts from an environmental eyesore into a survival crisis for humanity. With microscopic size, these death particles perfectly disguise themselves as plankton. Small fish eat them. Bigger fish eat the small fish. And at the top of the food chain, humans eat the big fish. We are witnessing a reverse poisoning process. The plastic particles absorb pesticides and heavy metals in seawater, then transport them directly into living organisms, and finally into our own bloodstream. Faced with this catastrophe, humanity's first reaction was to use brute force. Why not send thousands of ships and nets to scoop it all up? That was the traditional thinking. And that is exactly why we failed for so many years. Let's do an energy calculation. The ocean is vast and constantly moving. Using diesel-powered ships to hunt down each piece of trash is like trying to dry a flooded floor with a single teaspoon while the faucet is still blasting water. Science has proven this approach would take tens of thousands of years and cost tens of billions of dollars. Worse still, the carbon emissions from such a massive fleet would kill the ocean faster than plastic itself. It would be ecological suicide. We need a completely new approach. Not using muscle to fight nature, but using intelligence to move with it. In that deadlock, a spark of light appeared. It was a shift in perspective from chasing to setting traps. The young engineering team at the ocean cleanup realized a basic principle similar to the martial art of Judo. Do not use strength against your opponent. Use the opponent's own force to bring them down. The opponent here is the ocean currents. Instead of burning fuel to chase trash, why not let the water carry the trash to us? Thus, the idea of an artificial coastline was born. They designed a massive floating barrier system, shaped like a giant U. The system needs no engine, no propellers. It drifts freely on the ocean. But here is the genius of the design. It is calculated through aerodynamics and hydrodynamics to move slower than the trash, or faster than the trash, creating a speed difference. Because of this, the waste is naturally funneled into the center of the U without burning a single drop of fuel in pursuit. From theory to reality was a vast abyss. Engineers faced insane physical challenges. The system had to be flexible enough to bend like a water snake before waves as tall as 5-story buildings during Pacific winter storms, yet strong enough to hold back hundreds of tons of waste. A major ethical question also arose. How do you catch trash without catching fish? The solution lay in understanding biological behavior. Plastic waste is dead matter, passively floating on the surface. Fish and marine life are active swimmers. Instead of using woven nets, the system uses a solid barrier curtain extending about 3 meters beneath the floating booms. This curtain creates a downward flowing current. Marine creatures, when encountering an obstacle, instinctively swim downward and easily pass beneath the barrier to escape. Meanwhile, light floating plastic remains trapped at the surface. It is a deeply humane design, protecting life while declaring war on dead material. In 2018, the world held its breath as System 001, nicknamed Wilson, was towed out to sea from the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. The expectations placed on it were enormous, but the ocean shows no mercy for even the smallest mistakes. After only a few months of operation, bad news arrived. Wilson had broken. A massive pipe section snapped apart due to material fatigue under the constant pressure of ocean waves. Even worse, the system could not retain the trash. Plastic drifted in, then drifted right back out. The media began to mock it. Critics smugly said, "We told you so." Skepticism engulfed the project. But in engineering, failure is not the end. Failure is data. The team towed Wilson's remains back to shore and dissected the problem. They discovered a fatal flaw. The system drifted too fast, moving at the same speed as the trash, which meant the waste could not be captured. To fix this, they applied a classic but powerful solution, a sea anchor. They deployed a massive parachute deep below the surface, where the water moves slower or is nearly still. This parachute acted like a water brake, slowing the entire system down. A speed difference was created. The system now moved more slowly, allowing surface currents to push trash into the center of the U more quickly. System 001B was born from the ashes of failure, and this time it proved its effectiveness. For the first time in history, plastic was passively collected in the open ocean. Success offshore was only half of the equation. If the ocean is a leaking reservoir, then rivers are the fully open faucets. Satellite data and hydrological models revealed a shocking truth. 80% of plastic waste entering the ocean comes from just 1% of the world's rivers, roughly 1,000 of the most polluted waterways. The ocean cleanup's strategy immediately shifted into a pincer movement. Offshore, they deployed System 002 and the newest giant, System 03, with barrier lengths reaching 2.5 kilometers, operating like a massive arm sweeping away the old scars of the past. On land, they unleashed the Interceptor. These vessels look like they came straight out of a science fiction movie, stationed at strategic river mouths. Powered 100% by solar energy, the Interceptor works like a tireless trash-eating beast. Barriers guide waste onto conveyor belts. Computers automatically sort it into containers. It runs 24/7, stopping the flow of garbage before it can ever reach the sea. Imagine the moment when the massive crane on the mothership slowly lifts the net from the water. Seawater pours down like the ocean's bleeding finally being stopped. And inside is not fish, but an enormous, dark, tangled mass of material. It is the strangest catch in maritime history. Tons of plastic that drifted for decades, now captured in a single haul. Numbers do not lie. As of now, this campaign has removed more than 45 million kilograms, nearly 100 million pounds, of plastic waste from underwater ecosystems. But the story does not end when the trash reaches shore. What happens next is the real engineering twist. Instead of burying this waste in landfills, where it could leak back into the environment once again, the ocean cleanup chose a harder path: the circular economy. Once brought to port, the plastic goes through a strict sorting process, like in a laboratory. Usable materials are reborn. They become stylish sunglasses, durable construction materials, and home accessories. The money earned from selling these reborn from the ocean products is reinvested to fund the cleanup itself. Trash, once the enemy has become the financial weapon to destroy itself. A perfect closed loop. However, amid the applause for technology, we must stay clear-headed and face another brutal truth. No matter how advanced and efficient the Interceptor or System 03 may be, we are still just mopping the floor while the faucet is still running. global plastic production continues to rise. Every minute, enormous amounts of waste keep pouring into the ocean from places technology has not yet reached. If humanity relies only on these cleanup machines without changing consumption behavior, this war will last forever. We cannot clean a planet that is still deliberately polluting itself. Technology is a tool to fix the past, but awareness is the key to protecting the future. Do not let the miracle of engineering lull us into irresponsibility. The ocean is recovering, 1 kilogram at a time. Deep blue is slowly reclaiming space from the gray stains. But the most powerful machine to save this planet is not the interceptor, nor the multi-kilometer barrier system offshore. The most powerful machine is your decision today. When you stand at the store shelf choosing between a single-use plastic bottle or a reusable water bottle, you are making a decision with the weight of a military command. Do you want to supply ammunition to the waste monster, or become part of the rescue fleet? History will not judge us by what we destroyed, but by what we tried to repair. The journey to clean the ocean has only just begun, and it needs you. What do you think? Can this technology truly save the Earth? Or do we need a global ban on single-use plastics? Leave your thoughts below, and do not forget to share this video to spread hope.